They never wanted you to see this. Stop everything you're doing right now. This message was not random. You did not stumble here by accident. Something far greater than coincidence pulled you to this exact moment, this exact video, this exact truth. And what you're about to hear will change how you see your entire life. You have felt it, that quiet, persistent resistance. Like no matter how hard you push, something invisible pushes back. Like your prayers go up, but the breakthrough never lands. Like you're running a race with someone secretly cutting your shoelaces in the dark. You thought it was bad luck. You thought it was timing. You thought maybe you just weren't good enough. But God just pulled back the curtain, and what's behind it will shake you to your core. There is someone in your life, someone close, someone you trusted, someone you maybe even loved, who has been operating against your destiny in secret. Not with weapons, not with words you could hear, but with energy, with envy, with prayers whispered in the opposite direction of yours. And here's what makes you different from everyone else watching random videos tonight. You were led here. The chosen one doesn't always look chosen. Sometimes they look tired. Sometimes they look like they're losing. Sometimes they look exactly like you do right now. But your tomb is empty. What tried to bury you couldn't keep you down. And today, everything changes. If this message found you at the right time, type exposed in the comments right now. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because what's coming next will rearrange your spirit. Part 1. The weight you couldn't explain. You've been carrying something heavy. Not a weight you chose, not a burden you built. Something that was placed on you quietly, carefully, by hands that smiled at your face while working against your future. You felt it in your sleep. You felt it when a door closed that should have opened, when an opportunity dissolved at the last second, when the relationship cracked for no visible reason, when your body got sick right before your biggest moment. You called it bad luck. God calls it warfare. There is a spiritual law that most people never learn. When you're destined for something great, truly great, not surface-level success, but soul-deep purpose, the resistance you face is not random. It is targeted. It is intentional, and it often comes from the person standing closest to you. Think about that. The enemy doesn't send strangers to stop the chosen one. Strangers don't have access. Strangers don't know your plans, your dreams, your fears, your weaknesses. Strangers can't whisper doubt into your ears at 2 a.m. Strangers can't sit at your table and eat your food while starving your destiny. Only someone close can do that. Only someone you've trusted. And here's the part that breaks people when they first hear it. The betrayal wasn't always conscious. Sometimes the person working against you doesn't even know they're doing it. Their envy operates below the surface. Their fear of your elevation disguises itself as concern for you. Their prayers for you to be realistic are really prayers for you to shrink. They don't hate you. They just love the version of you, the version that never outgrows them. But you were never meant to stay small for someone else's comfort. You were built for more. And the weight you've been carrying, that invisible heaviness, it wasn't yours to begin with. It was assigned to you, loaded onto your shoulders by someone who needed you to stay exactly where you were. But here's the truth that shifts everything. God saw every single move they made, and He's been keeping receipts.
Part 2. The face behind the mask. Let's talk about who this person is. Because God doesn't expose without reason. He exposes to protect you. He exposes to redirect you. He exposes to cut the cord that has been silently draining your power for months, maybe years. This person laughed with you. This person cried with you, or pretended to. This person said, "I'm so proud of you," while quietly hoping the thing you were proud of would fall apart before it reached its full form. They showed up at your celebrations, they hugged you tight, they called themselves your friend, your family, your biggest supporter. But in private, they compared themselves to you obsessively. In private, they celebrated your setbacks. In private, they told others a version of your story that painted you smaller than you are. Watch carefully now. This person gets unusually quiet when you win. This person always has a but after a compliment. You did well, but that's great, but I'm happy for you, but there is always a but, because the but is where their true energy lives. This person asks questions about your plans that feel like curiosity, but carry the weight of surveillance. They want to know what you're building so they can calculate how to stay ahead of you, or how to subtly steer you off course, or simply how to prepare their envy in advance. You know exactly who this is. Your spirit has always known. You just didn't want to believe it. Because accepting the truth means grieving something. It means letting go of the version of this relationship you always hoped it would become. It means admitting that the warmth you felt was sometimes one-sided, that the loyalty you offered was never fully returned. That is painful. God knows it's painful. But He exposed this person not to destroy you, but to finally, completely free you. Because you cannot walk into your full destiny carrying someone who was sent to delay it. You cannot fly with someone clinging to your wings. The exposure isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your real one. Part 3. Why God waited this long. You've been asking the same question. If God saw this, why did He wait so long to show me? That question is real. That frustration is valid. You've lost time. You've poured energy into relationships that were quietly draining you. You've trusted people who were using that trust as a weapon. Why did He let it go on so long? Here is the answer that will shift everything for you. God was not being slow. God was being surgical. There are things you learned inside that difficult season that you could not have learned any other way. Strength that only comes from carrying invisible weight for too long. Discernment that only develops when you've been deceived by someone you loved. Wisdom that only grows when you've had to find your way in the dark. You needed to develop before the breakthrough. And the person working against you unknowingly, painfully, perfectly was part of your development. Not because God approved of their actions, but because God is that good at turning what was meant for your destruction into raw material for your elevation. Think about Joseph. His brothers hated him. They stripped him, threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery. They looked him in the face and let him go. And for years, it looked like the wrong people won. But the pit was a pit stop. The prison was a preparation room. And every single person who worked against Joseph ended up bowing before the very destiny they tried to destroy. That's not a Bible story. That's your story. The person who has been working against you in secret, they don't know what they've been doing. They don't know they've been sharpening you. They don't know that every obstacle they placed in your path became a step that lifted you higher. They thought they were stopping you. They were sculpting you. And now God has said enough. The season of silent warfare is over. The exposure has begun. You don't need to confront anyone. You don't need to post anything. You just need to receive what's coming next.
Part 4. What happens now? This is where your life pivots. Not tomorrow, not next year. Right now, in this moment, something is shifting beneath the surface of your reality. God's exposure of this person is not just revelation, it's release. It's the spiritual cutting of a cord that has had you anchored to someone else's ceiling when you were built to break through to an entirely different atmosphere. Feel that. Something is lifting off you right now. That pressure in your chest that never fully goes away, that low-grade exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix, that persistent feeling that you're almost there but never quite arriving. It's been connected in part to this relationship, to this energy, to this person who needed you to stay where you were. And now that God has shown you, you are free. But freedom comes with responsibility. You cannot unsee this. You cannot pretend you don't know what you know. You cannot go back to feeding a connection that has been feeding on your destiny. This is the moment where chosen ones make the choice that separates them from everyone else.
The ordinary path is to confront, to expose publicly, to repay the betrayal with anger. The chosen path is different. You forgive quietly, you release completely. You bless them from a distance and never look back, not because what they did was acceptable, but because carrying the weight of their betrayal into your next chapter is a price too high. Your next chapter is extraordinary. Your next chapter has no room for dead weight. The person who worked against you in secret will watch from a distance as everything they tried to delay suddenly accelerates. The doors that were stuck begin to open. The opportunities that disappeared begin to return. The favor that felt blocked begins to flow. Because it was never canceled. It was just waiting for the obstruction to be removed. And God just removed it. Not by destroying them, but by simply showing you the truth. The truth you needed. The truth you were ready for. The truth that changes absolutely everything. You came to this video for a reason. Don't dismiss that. The chosen one is not someone who has a perfect life. The chosen one is someone who keeps moving through the fire. Someone who gets knocked down and somehow, every single time, finds the strength to get back up. That's you. It has always been you. The person who worked against you in secret thought they were writing your ending, but God took the pen out of their hand, and He's giving it to you. Write something beautiful. Write something that makes every delay worth it. Write something so powerful that one day, when you look back, you'll understand that everything that tried to stop you was actually setting you up. Your tomb is empty. What they buried couldn't stay buried. What they cursed couldn't stay cursed. What they tried to minimize is about to be magnified beyond anything they imagined. This is your moment. This is your season. This is God saying, I see you. I chose you. I never forgot about you. Walk out of that tomb. Walk into what's been waiting. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows that no weapon formed against them, seen or unseen, has ever truly prospered. You are covered. You are chosen. You are free. Subscribe right now because what's coming next in this channel is being made specifically for people like you, and you don't want to miss a single word.